morning. We're doing a 30-minute easy morning class. So you can just get started in a seated position, cross your legs in, and sit up tall, close your eyes, and just let your body relax, let your mind relax, and focus on your breathing. Bringing that breath in and out through your nose. Nice, long, slow inhale, and a long, slow exhale. And just find that rhythm of breath, making it feel almost like your breath is matching the waves rolling on the shore of the ocean. Breathing in strength, breathing out strength, breathing in light, breathing out light, breathing in love, breathing out love. And then you can bring your hands to your knees, open your eyes, and then lean forward. As you breathe in, you want to lift your heart and lift your face and round your spine, leaning back. Let's exhale, breathe in, coming forward. Lift the heart, lift the face. Breathe out, leaning back, rounding the spine, tucking the chin. And just a few more movements like this, warming up through the spine and through the hips, moving at your own pace. And just as a reminder to always go at your own pace. Move slowly and carefully into the poses so that you feel exactly when it is when you start to feel the best stretch for you, and then you can stop there. And you should never push yourself to the point of pain, so it should always just be a gentle stretch, and as soon as you feel a little bit of resistance in the pose, you want to stop there and allow your body to open up naturally rather than forcing it in a little bit of a deeper pose than what you are comfortable with. So let's come on back to the center. You're going to place that left hand down on the mat next to you, and you want to bend your elbow. You can bring it in towards that elbow, towards the rib cage. So both of your sitting bones should be on the floor. So just leaning slightly to the left, lengthening out here through the right side of the body down into the hip. You can bring your hand to your hip, or you can also stretch it up overhead. And you can lean it in a little bit more if you like, letting that elbow soften, letting the elbow bend down over your head, and adding a little bit of weight when you do that. Just adding that extra little arm weight into your pose so that you move a little bit further into the stretch. And then come on back up to the center. We'll switch sides. Bring your right hand down to the mat. Bend that elbow. So this left sitting bone is on the floor. You want to keep it anchored. And you can either bring that right hand to the hip as you lean in. Sorry, left hand to the hip as you lean in. Or you can take that hand up overhead. Or let it come a little further, leaning it, bending it over the head. And then come on back to the center. Bring your knees together, bring your feet out to the front, and give your legs a shake. And then let's bring those feet over towards the right side of the body. You want to stack your feet together, stack your knees together, and you're going to sit up tall. So you're sitting on your left hip, your right hip is off the ground. You're going to place the hands on top of the feet, lift your left hand up overhead, and then inhale, stretching the spine nice and long, sitting up as tall as you can, and lean into that right side. So just a little bit of a different stretch here. Still focusing on the left side of the body through the rib cage, the lower back, and into the hip. We'll release here, bringing the hand down to the floor. Let's go all the way over to the other side. So you're on your right hip now. The left hip is off. Knees are kind of stacked together. Your feet are around the same. If you want to change them, that's okay. Just lay your hand on that top ankle. Right hand comes up overhead. Inhale, lift up. Lengthen through the spine, nice and long. And as you exhale, you're going to lean to the side. Just opening up that whole right side of the body. And slowly release, bringing your arm down to the floor, lean back, bring those feet out to the front. Let's bring them out and shake them out. And then you're going to fold them back in again. Place those feet there. So you're just going to have both feet on the floor. Bring your hands back by your hips and shift your hips towards your heels now. You're going to let your elbows bend towards the back of the room. So instead of out to the side, bring them towards the back. It's going to bring your shoulders, let them roll back a little bit. Then you want to lift the heart. You keep looking forward, or to increase the pose, you can look up. This kind of squeezes those shoulder blades together, gives a nice little stretch through the back, across the front of the chest, and through the shoulders. And now let's release forward. You can ease your feet off a little bit. Come on forward. Grab the knees, hug them in, and bring your forehead down towards the knees. So just rounding through the whole back body, through the back of the neck, through the spine. And lift the head, let your legs go. Let's drop the knees and bring the soles of your feet together. You kind of give a little rock back and forth here, coming up on your sitting bones. And you're going to sit up tall, just holding the feet. Lean in with a straight spine. So instead of rounding down into the pose, we're just going to lean in slightly. You may start to feel a stretch here through the inner thigh. And when you feel like you're stuck in the pose, then it's time to soften the spine, and you're going to let your shoulders round. You can let your head drop down. You can let your whole upper body soften. Okay, while we're here, let's just lean ever so slightly over towards that left knee and hold it here for a few breaths. So that's just reaching down into that lower back on the right section a little bit more and changing the angle on the hip stretch. All right, coming back to the center and then lean a little bit over towards that right knee. Release back to the center and come on up. Bring those knees together. Let your feet stretch out in front of you and shake them out. We're going to open up that right leg towards the outside edge of the mat. Pull the left leg in. Turn towards the right leg and sit up tall. Lean forward over the leg. Let's pull those toes back in on the foot so that it stretches it through the bottom of the leg. If you want to put the hands underneath your knees, if you find there's a lot of tension there, you can just drop them under the knee and lift it up a little bit to ease the tension off. But we're going to lean down over this leg. We're going to soften through the spine. You can let your hands stretch down towards the foot, or you can just leave them up around the knees. And then slowly release the upper body. Take those toes and pull them in a little bit more. And then point the foot, point the toes, pull the toes back in, point the toes, and then release. We'll switch sides on the legs. So you're going to take that left leg out, the right leg folds in, turn towards the left leg, sit up tall, pull the toes in towards your face. And as you exhale, you're going to lean down over that leg. Again, using the hands under the knees if you'd like to modify the pose. And slowly release the upper body. Take your toes, pull them in a little bit further, point them away, pull the toes in, point them away, and then release. We're going to bring both legs into the center, shake them out. Take this right leg, bend it, and open it up a little bit wider so it's sitting out towards the outside. And you're going to take both hands and bring them to the inside of that knee. So you should be on your sitting bones still. If you're not, just adjust that foot so that both hips and both sitting bones are on the ground. So try to keep that leg wide starting off. Your body comes to the inside of that knee, and then you're going to lean down. So you'll notice that this is the stretch here for the really inner part, or maybe the top section of that hip. It's a different stretch than we get a lot of times. On this left foot, the one that's stretched out, pull the toes in. You'll feel the back of the leg lengthen right up towards that hamstring hip attachment. There's a few options, so you can just leave your hands out here towards the front, or you can wrap that hand around the knee. So this is the place where you may want to make some adjustments with this leg, so you can bring it in a little bit closer. As long as that knee is still up, the upper body is still down, you let your shoulders drop, and you just kind of wrap that hand around, and the left hand can wrap around as well, reaching towards the back. Just tuck your chin in slightly so the back of the neck feels long. This pose is called Merchi, which literally translates into ray of light. We're going to release here and come on up, and let's take this right leg and cross it over the left. Sit up tall, take the left hand and hug the knee in. The right arm is going to come out around shoulder height, and you're going to twist it around to the back. Try to keep that spine nice and long here as you twist. You can drop the hand down to the floor and slide that wrist in towards the hips, dropping the base of the wrist down towards the ground, or you can stay up on the fingertips. The toes of that left foot are going to pull in again to lengthen it through the back of the leg. Then you can look out over the shoulder or back just ever so slightly. Bring your breath down into the belly so that it feels free, it feels long, so you keep that breath a little bit longer when it's coming down deeper in your mind. Slowly release, bringing both hands over here to the floor on the left, and then you're going to lean into that side. You soften the elbows, this right hip comes off the ground, and just as a little counter twist. Okay, release here. Take that leg out, give it a little shake. And we're going to come back into Merchi. So you're going to bend this left leg, keep it wide, bring your upper body to the inside of the leg. Now sit up tall, and the toes of the right foot are going to pull in. You're going to lean down on the inside. So you can hold it here, just making your little adjustment so that making sure that that foot is pulled in, moving the foot in or out, depending on where you need it to be comfortable. And you can just hang out here, or you can wrap this left arm around the knee towards the back. The right hand can come towards the back as well. Chin tucks in slightly. And then slowly release. Coming up, take this left leg and cross it over the right knee. Sit up tall and grab that knee with your right hand. The left hand is going to come out around shoulder height, and you can twist around to the back, following that hand with your head. Nice and straight through the spine. Drop that hand down and slide it in towards the base of the hips. You can lock out that left elbow to help you stay a little bit straighter in the pose, looking out to the side or back ever so slightly. When you're twisting, you always want to make sure that you're able to swallow freely. So if it's a little bit constricted or tight, you're just going to back the head off a little bit, keeping your breath down into the belly, those toes of the right foot pulling in just to get the length through that right leg. Take one more big breath here. And on your exhale, let's release back around to the front. Both hands are going to come over here to the floor on the right, and you're going to lean into the pose. So this left hip can lift off the ground and just kind of leaning down towards the ground. Release back to the center. Unwind the legs. Give them a good shake. And a lot of times it feels nice if you take the base of the palms and rub them from the top around the hips down towards the knees. On the top, on the outsides, from the outsides of the hips to the outsides of the knees, just to loosen them up a little bit. All right, and then we're going to come onto our hands and knees. So you can make your way over, lining up so that your wrists are below your shoulders, your knees are below the hips, and you can have your toes tucked under or your feet flat down, toenails flat to the floor. As you exhale, let's tuck the chin and round through the spine, letting all those muscles along the spine kind of stretch out. Inhale, let the belly drop, look forward slightly, reaching your heart away from your tailbone. Exhale, chin to the chest, rounding. Inhale, let the belly drop, look forward. And then release back to a neutral spine. Let's tuck those toes under and lift the hips for a quick little downward dog. Hips up towards the sky, letting your head push back towards the ground, towards those back feet. You can look towards the feet. Your heels can be off the ground here. You just want to feel the length down through the back of the legs. Fingers spread wide on the mat and the weight out towards those fingertips, leaving a nice little space here at the base of the wrist and the mat, so you're not compressing your wrists. Let's walk this around a little bit, softening one knee, straightening through the other, and just pedaling back and forth. Loosening up through the back body. And then slowly drop those knees down towards the mat, bringing them back so that they are underneath the hips, directly underneath the hips. Then you're going to take your left leg. You're going to stretch it back, pull the toes in, and lay those toes down on the ground. Let's shift the hips backwards to get more length through the back of the leg, stretching it through the calf muscles on that left leg. If you don't quite feel that stretch, let's take your tailbone and tilt it down towards the ground, up towards the sky, or from the center, tilt to the right or the left. This is going to change the angle on the pose. For your hands, if you're comfortable here, you can stay. You can drop down onto a pillow or down onto your elbows. Okay, so we're going to change the stretch up. So if you're down on your elbows, you want to come back up to the hands. You're going to take that left foot and walk it to the right. So just crossing over the center line of the body. Then you're going to walk your hands to the right so that you're lengthening out through this whole left side of the body, down the hip, down through the leg. And you're going to look towards the back. So looking back towards your feet. Notice how on that back foot, if you let your foot turn to the side, heel coming closer to the ground, it feels different than if you keep your heel up towards the sky. So I find that keeping the heel up towards the sky gives me more of a stretch where I'm looking for it, which is the outside of this leg, the IT band. So it just depends on where you need the stretch. So you can let your heel flop to the side, or you can let it reach up towards the sky. Okay, let's unwind the legs. Bring that left knee so that it's back underneath your hips, and your hands are going to come back to the center. You're going to stretch your right foot back now. Pull the toes under and lay that foot down on the ground. Now you're going to let the hips shift backwards. And then take the tailbone, tilt it up, tilt it down, tilt it to the right, to the left. See if there's a spot there that works best for your body today. And that's one of those things to recognize is that every day your body changes, and a pose that worked well for you yesterday may not be the one that's going to get you through today. So feel free to change the poses so that they suit your body where you are right now. Again, dropping down to the elbows if you need that, but if you find it more comfortable. And then you can come back up onto the hands, take that foot, walk it to the left, crossing the center line of the body, walk the hands to the left, and look back over that shoulder towards the feet, stretching out here through the outside of that right hip. Now, do the same thing with that heel. You can let it slide to the floor. You can let it come up towards the ceiling and see which one gives you a better stretch on the outside of that right hip. And then slowly release the hands back to the center, that right knee back in. And we're going to flip around, coming down onto our back on your mat. And just hug your knees into your chest. Let your body rock from side to side, letting your head move with the body. Bring your feet to the floor with your knees bent. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. Reach up between the legs. Pull those legs in a little bit closer to the upper body, and then let your legs move an inch to the right or an inch to the left to see if there is a better stretch for that hip, that right side, and the glutes. Just hold this pose for a few breaths. And we'll switch sides, unwinding the ankles and the knees. Cross that left ankle over the right knee, reach up between the legs, grab the back of that right leg, and again letting the legs shift a little bit to the right or to the left. And hold the pose, take a few breaths. Always a nice way to get the stretch down into the hips. Okay, release back to the center. Bring both feet up to the sky. And you're going to pedal your feet like you're riding a bike. Nice and slow. And then let's reverse that, coming backwards. So just strengthening up here the little muscles that support the knees. And then you're going to hug your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, Release your legs all the way down to the bottom of the mat. Give your legs a nice little shake. Stretch your arms up overhead, making yourself as tall as possible. Deep breath in. And then exhale, release. Arms coming down along your sides. You're going to let those shoulder blades kind of roll back, flatten down into the floor. Let your hips become comfortable and that your spine feels long. And you want to let your body settle down into the ground. Let your feet relax. Close your eyes. And we'll start a little relaxation. So just starting with your feet. You're going to relax your toes, the arches, and your heels. Relaxing the calf muscles and the knees, your thighs, and your hips. Relax your lower back, all the muscles along the spine, your shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Relax your neck, your face, and your head. Go inside and relax your mind. Thank your heart. And focusing on your breath. Breathe in love. Breathe out love. Breathe in strength. Breathe out strength. Breathe in patience. Breathe out patience. And you can stay where you are, or you can roll over onto your side, making your way to a seated position. Bring your hands to your heart, wherever you are. Deep breath in. Exhale, release. And I want to thank you very much for joining me. Thank yourself for taking this time out of your day to strengthen your body and to strengthen your mind. Namaste.